this is Mrs. Patterson's Homework Help. We are on Chapter 8, Lesson 6. And what we're going to do today is compare fractions. And to do that, we find least common multiple. And you know what a multiple is, excuse me. Multiples are numbers that grow, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 6, 9, 12, and so forth. Those are numbers that grow. So we're going to find the least common multiple, okay? That's going to be the tricky part today in the lesson. So I'm going to focus on this homework helper lesson here and go through this to better help you understand. Okay, Ellen has 3 cans of paint that are the same size, so she has these 3 cans. The can of blue paint, and sorry for my bumpy thing, blue paint is 2/3 full, okay? She has a can of green paint, and the green paint is 3/4 full. And finally, she has a can of yellow paint, and I just happen to have a yellow marker. That is 1/2 full. Now, we can certainly mark those where we think they are, but let me tell you, you're going to have trouble with these and possibly with these, making sure that they're exact comparisons. So we're doing this with our numbers, okay? So first of all, we have 3, 4, and 2 are our denominators. We want to look at that because we want all the denominators speaking the same language, okay? And I'm going to make this fraction here in black so you can see it better. So I want them to all be speaking. Right now, this is speaking thirds, this is speaking fourths, this is speaking halves. They're not all speaking the same language, so we need to fix that. To do that, we need to figure out the least common multiple. All right, so let's start with this guy, 3's. Okay, so when we do our multiples, and it shows it right here, we have 3, 6, 9, 12, and 15. That's high enough for right now. Okay, for the green, we're talking by 4s, right? So multiples of 4, 4, 8, 12, 16. That's far enough. And for the yellow, I'm going to use black so we can see it. We're counting by 2s. We know how to do that easily. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. And I'm going to get them to where they're stopping pretty much close to the same thing. Okay. So we can see that, what do they have in common? Let's look. So 3, 4, 2, those are different, okay? Well, this has got a 4 and this has got a 4, but does this have a 4? No. How about 6? 6 is here, but this guy doesn't have a 6. 9, no 9 here and no 9 here. 12, 12, 12 is in all 3 groups, okay? That's the number we want to use. That's the denominator we want these all to say or speak that language. So I want to change this to a fraction that has 12 as the denominator. So that way I can compare and see which paint can is the smallest, the medium, and the biggest. Okay? So how can I get 3 to turn into 12? I multiply it by 4. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 4. 3 times 4 is 12. 2 times 4 is 8. So 8 twelfths is the same as 2/3. Okay? What do I multiply 4 by to get to 12? 3. So 3. I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by 3. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. So now this is talking 12 language. And 2 to 12, I multiply by 6. So multiply the top and bottom number. 2 times 6 is 12. 1 times 6 is 6. So guess what? Now my yellow is 6 twelfths. My green is 9 twelfths. And you can't see the 12 right here real easy. And the blue is 8 twelfths. So now that they're all speaking the same language, 12s, I can see which is the smallest, which is the yellow. The middle one is blue. This is the middle one. And this is the greatest of those fractions. okay? So we can even say 1/2 is the smallest, 2/3 is the next greatest, and then finally the greatest is 3/4 because I changed it all to speak the same language, okay? So that's what they've done here, and they even show the colors here. And so then if we want to say, and we want it, and what do they want? Order the paints from the least to the greatest. So 1/2, or the yellow, is the least. The next least is 2/3, which is blue. And finally, the greatest is 3/4, and that's green. Now, if you want to, you can put the new fractions next to that as well. Or this is 6/12, this is 8/12, and this is 9/12. Gets pretty confusing. But basically what you wanted to do is get these fractions to all speak the same denominator language so it's easy for you to see. Because if you're talking 12s, 6/12 is smaller than 8/12, which is smaller than 9/12. Okay, that's basically it. So you need them to speak all the same language. And they have that all written out there. Okay, let's look at the back. Now they're giving us two numbers to compare here. And this might be a little easier to do. You don't have to find the least common multiple for a whole lot. But say we're doing 1/2 and we're doing 1/3. Okay? So we count 2, 4, 6, 8. Let's keep going because I don't want to. I want to get big up here. Okay, now 3, 6, 9, 12. Okay, I can stop there because I know I found one. 6 and 6 are the smallest number that they both have in common. So I want them both to speak the language of 6. Okay, so how do I get 1/2 to equal 6 as a denominator? Well, I multiply it by 3. So I multiply the top and the bottom by 3. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 3 is 1. So I know that 1/2, it helps if I did this right, 3/6. I know 1/2 is 3/6. And then 1/3, I get it to speak the language of 6. I multiply it by 2/2. 3 times 2 is 6. 1 times 2 is 2. 2/6. So 1/3 equals 2/6. Okay. So then I can say, hey, 1/2 is bigger than 1/3. Okay. Use the same method we did for these three problems, where it has three terms, as we did right here. Okay. Also, answer the two questions here. The least common, they ask, what's the least common multiple of 3 and 8? That should be fun. And which fraction is not greater than 1/2? Okay, some great challenges out there. Okay, today's bonus question is, compare 3/4 to 6/8. Is it less than, greater than, or equal to?